Okay, so in Photoshop, what opens up is just this entire interface with nothing here. To get whatever you want here, you just go to File and Open, and you find your document the same way you normally would with any other program, and you just scroll through, figure out where it's at, and click on it, and then click Open. I have already opened this one up. Most of the files that are already set up for you, you're going to go to Teams and just download. So on your Teams page, I have a channel for each project that we do. You can click into that channel, find the documents you need, and just download them from there. Along the left-hand side of Photoshop are all of your tools. We're going to start those tools and we're going to work through them tool by tool until we figure out how to kind of run Photoshop and it becomes easier. Photoshop's awesome because there's a million different things you can do with it, but it's overwhelming because there are a million different things you can do with it and a million different ways to get to those million things. So your tools are along here, your normal menu bars across the top. This menu bar or toolbar will change depending on which tool you have selected out. So there are individual options for each tool that you use. And then there's a panel over here called Layers. You can kind of personalize this over here too. Layers are every component that you have in your Photoshop document. So every time you add a new text or a new picture, it adds a new layer onto your document. So the nice thing about layers is that you can hide and reveal layers without completely taking them away. So this little eyeball, you can just click off of it and it goes away. You can click back on it and it reveals itself back out. I'm not going to go into layers a whole lot today, other than you need to be working on layer 1 copy right now. I should have named those something different, but it's the picture you can see on the right hand side of the document versus the picture on the left hand side of the document, which is layer 1. If something isn't working, if one of your tools is not working, if you check to make sure you're on the right layer or hit Control D, sometimes you can select out objects without meaning to. Those two things will help you figure this out. So on the Surface tablets, they work just like your phone. You can use your pinch screen to zoom into a certain area. So what I like to do is zoom in nice and close to what I'm working on. So the first little practice assignment we're going to do is called Photo Retouching. And with this assignment, we're going to learn the clone stamp tool and the healing brush tool. Those two tools will help you to retouch your photos. So for our purposes, we're taking away a tattoo, we're removing a tattoo. You can use these same tools to hide or remove blemishes like pimples or scars or moles or anything like that. So clone stamp tool is up. No, I'm sorry. Healing brush tool is up first because it's the easiest one to use. It looks like a little Band-Aid. If you right click on these tools, there are more tools underneath them. So for some things, you'll have to get into there. For these first two tools, we're just going to use what's already up. So we're actually using what's called the spot healing brush. And all you have to do with this spot healing brush is click and paint over whatever area you want to retouch. What happens with this brush is that it draws the pixels around it to kind of heal or erase whatever's there. So it uses those pixels that are around it to cover up whatever is there. So you can see this is working pretty easily because there's a whole lot of clean skin around there. Sometimes it wants to redo the tattoo because it's picking up a little portion of that. But if you work, especially with a smaller brush size, and go over certain areas, it just kind of erases what you have, and then you can go over a bigger spot so that there's not a whole lot of texture with it. Makes sense with that one? Okay, so the clone stamp is a little bit different. What it does is actually clones sections of your assignment. So whenever you hover over a tool, it gives you a little mini demo of what it's doing. So you can actually just copy or duplicate sections of whatever you're working on. With this assignment, we want to clone the good skin or the clean skin over top of the tattoo. So the reason that you can't just use this healing brush is once you get into areas that have a lot of stuff with them or a lot of different pixels with them, it tends to start to want to just not do anything. It just recopies whatever's there. So sometimes you have to just paint over with the new skin. So for this tool, you have to select what's called a source point or an area that it's going to copy. So to do that, you hover your brush over wherever you want to copy, hold down your Alt key and click. And that gives you, you can see there's a little crosshair up there. That gives you the area that it's going to copy. The problem is if you don't select new source points, it just recopies everything that's already done. So to use the clone stamp effectively, the way that you do it is just choose new source points often. I kind of went over that at the beginning, and work in small little sections. In order to do this, if you're just copying a whole big section, it doesn't really matter if you work in small parts. The bonus of this is that if you get to an area that you want to copy, like lines for her strap or anything like that, you can do that and it will just clone that strap the whole way up through. You just have to watch so that you're working, like her skin's a different color down here, so I wouldn't want to select this source point and then go down here and try to clone it because it messes everything up. You just kind of stay close to where you're at. So Alt click, hover over where you want to copy, Alt click, you get that little bullseye, and then that becomes your new source point. Okay? Does that give you enough to get started with?
Yes, so it's Alt click for that one.
Alt click for that one. Yep. Okay.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.